Hi boys and girls, so this is the video for page 147 in our Mathemagic. So we've already done 1 to 4 a different week. So today we're going to be looking at 5, 6 and 7. So just when we have a quick glance at what we to do in each number, I can see that I'm adding in all of them, okay? So we'll have a look at number 5 first and we'll have a look at what we have to do. So again, boys and girls, I want you to label across tens and units the whole way across, just because I think it means that you have less of a chance of making a mistake if you have your columns labeled tens and units, okay? So we'll have a look at the first one. We always do our units column first, so let's have a look. 4 plus 8 is 12. Now we know that we don't write 12 down here. We have to do something with the 12. So it's a little while now since we've done these, but I'm sure you'll remember when you see. What we do is we put down our 2 and we carry our 1 over here and we just put a circle around it just to remind us that we need to add on that 1 to the tens. Okay, so I have my 12, but I have it written in 2 different rows. I have my 2 with my units because that's where the 2 belongs, and I have my 1 in the tens column because that's where that belongs. So put down my 2, carry my 1. Just put the circle around the 1 as well, we were saying, because that way then it just serves as a little reminder to make sure that we remember to add on that 1 too. Alright, so here we're going to be adding our tens now. So we have 2 plus 1 plus 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So we write in our 4 here underneath our tens column. So my answer is going to be 42. Just a little hint for you. We're going to have to carry for all 5, all 6 and all 7. Okay, I'm going to have a look at number 6 now. So that whole row for number 5 is the same. You write your tens and units above each column and then you're going to have to carry in all of them. Okay, so let's just have a look at number 6 now. So again, I want you to write your tens and units above each sum going the whole way across. Okay, so let's have a look. These are exactly the same as number 5, except this time we are adding 3 numbers together. Here we were only adding 2. Here we're adding 3. So 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. Now we know we do not write 15 down here underneath my units column because it doesn't all belong in the units column. All that belongs in the unit column is the 5. So I put down my 5 and I carry my 1. Okay, then I have my tens column here. So I'm going to be adding 3 plus 1 plus 2, and I've drawn a circle around my number 1 there to remind me to add on that 1, because very often people can forget to add on that 1. Okay, so 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. So I'm going to write in my 7 there. So my answer here is, even though it probably doesn't look great, 75. We'll try another one of these before we move on to number 7. Okay, so this is all revision, boys and girls. Now I know that it's a long time since we've done these, and if we were in school we would have done a lot of practice with them, you know, just on the board and things like that. So if it's a while since we've seen them and you're finding them hard, don't worry, just a bit of practice and it'll come back to you. If you find that you're still finding them difficult by the time you come to the end of it, then maybe you could just get mum or dad to write out a couple on a page for you and you could keep practicing. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. I have my tens column and my units column marked. So I'm going to add together my units first. So 5 plus 4 is 9, 9 plus 6 is 15. So we know we don't write down our 15 down here. We put down our 5 and we carry our 1 over here. Okay, and then I'm going to add my tens column. 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 1 is 8. Okay, so then I've added together my units column and my tens column, and I didn't forget to include that 1 there. Okay, so do the same thing the whole way across, everybody, please. Write your tens and units above each column, add your units column first, and don't forget to carry your number over to the tens column. Now down here, we're doing exactly the same, except this time we are adding a cross. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Again, we've done these on the board. We did lots of practice with these. Now I know it was a long time ago. We label both of them this time tens and units. So see how I've labeled the 28 tens and units, and I've labeled the 56 tens and units. And you're going to do that the same thing with all of them. Okay, tens and units, the whole way across. Okay. So, have a look at this one. So, I'm adding, I know from adding down, okay, when I was adding down, that I add my units first. So, if these are labelled, it's essential, boys and girls, that you label these ones here, the ones going across. Because if you don't, there is just too much of a chance of making a mistake. But if you label it, everything is organised and everything is, you know which column everything belongs to, there is very little chance for you to make a mistake then, okay? So I'm adding my units first. So I have a look. What are my units? Because I have them labelled, they're very easy to identify. My units are 8 plus 6. So 8 plus 6 is 14. So what I do is I write down my 4 here, okay? I leave a gap here because remember my 10 goes there, okay? Remember that? I write it down into my units place. And if you want to, write tens and units here over the box to show you. Sorry, now it's very hard to write as I'm looking into the camera. If you want to write the tens and units over the box, that'll tell you where you place your numbers inside in the box then. So let me just start again. So 8 plus 6 is 14. So I put down my 4 in my units column just like I would if I was adding going down. And I'm going to carry my 1 over to the tens. And what we said we'd do, we agreed in school that we'd all carry it to the 10 nearest to the equal sign. Okay, so I have the one that I carried over to the tens column next to the 5. Okay, so 2 plus 5 is 7, and 7 plus 1 is 8. And where do you think I'm going to write that? I'm going to write that underneath my tens column. So then I have 84 as my answer. Just to quickly recap on that, I labelled. It's so important to label, and as well to label the box here, because even though it's going to be an empty box and you're labelling it, it tells you where you're going to write your answer. It tells you the column, the correct column to write your answer. So when I labelled it, I was able to see that my 2 units were 8 plus 6. 8 plus 6 is 14. I put down my 4 and I carry my 1. And we said that we'd carry the 1 or the 10 next to the 10 closest to the equals, okay? So then when I'm adding my 10 column, I have 2 plus 5 because they're both underneath the tens, and not forgetting this little fella here. So 2 plus 5 is 7 and 1 is 8. So 84 was my answer. I'll do one more with you and then I'm going to let you to work away. So I have labelled these two here, tens and units, tens and units. I'm also just going to draw a tens and a units over my box as well. So 5 plus 9 are my 2 units because I start with the units. 5 plus 9 is 14. So put down my 4 in my units column and I carry my 1, and we decide that we're going to carry it to the one closest to the equal sign. Okay, you could carry it to here. You could write your 1 beside the 3 here as well. But we said we'd all do the same thing. We agreed one day in school we'd all do the same thing. So we said that we would put it next to this one here. Okay, so now I'm going to add my tens to work out what goes into this column here. So my tens are 3 plus 1 is 4. Sorry, 3 plus 1 is 4. And not forgetting this guy here, 4 plus 1 is 5. So 5 goes in here underneath the tens column. Okay, and you do the same thing for the next 4 sums. Label, 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 label. Add my units first, like this one here, we add our units first. This one here, we add our units first. And then we carry the 10, and then we add our tens. Okay, so hopefully that page won't give you any trouble, boys and girls. And if you're a little bit rusty with these, don't worry, because as I said, if we were in school, we would have been doing loads and loads of practice with these. But we weren't, so it's been a little while since we've done them, which means that we might be a little bit rusty, but that's okay. Just lots and lots and lots of practice. If you feel that at the end of this page that you're fine with them, great, you can leave it. If you feel that you're still not remembering them as well as what you did before, you might need to do a little bit more practice on them, and maybe get mum or dad to write out a couple of examples of each one. Okay?